Hello, non-sports fans. My name's John, his name's Brett, and this is Sports Poser, a show for people that don't know anything about sports but have FOMO. Don't want to be left out of those conversations on Monday morning. And today we're going to talk about a seasonal scourge that comes across the country every year. It takes families apart, it eats up all your time, it drops workplace productivity. I'm talking about fantasy football, Brett.
Oh, I thought you were talking about our wives. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Okay, might have to strike that. So, all right. So, couple questions for you, Brett. I know you're an avid fantasy football player, fantasy sports player. So, why do people play fantasy sports?
First of all, welcome back. We haven't done this in a while. I don't know how many people are pining for it, but if there's a few out there, you should be happy. And the other 76 subscribers have been waiting a long time for this, right?
And there's no sports in the summer, so it's good.
Yeah. Although Messi is taking over soccer, I don't know if you've noticed that, but his ticket prices are like $800 a seat all across the country. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in my entire life.
Taylor Swift of soccer, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I live in Raleigh, and I was looking at Charlotte prices, and nosebleeds are $250 for a seat.
Yeah.
So that happened this summer, which is cool. And the women, of course, lost the World Cup. And people that are very, very what do you say, political, all of us
Yeah.
decided to root against the US. I thought that was really healthy for the country, just
I thought
because
that
they
was the
didn't
whole
like
point. It was
I
all,
don't like Megan Rapinoe, so I think I'll root against our country.
yeah.
I know that's what the World War II veterans that definitely had that in mind
Yeah.
when they were storming the beach. Like, make sure you let one woman with colored hair that talks nonsense to make you hate the country.
Turn on your
Okay.
country. We're all patriots here. We're all patriots.
Okay. Anyway, back to football. Sorry.
Right. All right. So, why do people play?
Um, Most of the time it's for prestige of knowing more than your fellow uh, uh, league owners. There's a fantasy league, and so you usually typically about 12 teams. Usually people sometimes you don't, and you basically play for money. For me, I don't do anything for fun when it's competitive. I mean, why play if there's no winner or loser? It makes no sense. But so you put in money, and then you just try to have the best team, and whoever has the best team over the year wins the money. And so that's sort of the incentive. And I think what you're getting at is, why do people do it? Is because I have my favorite team, the Dolphins, right? So of course I'm very excited when the Dolphins play, but I don't really care about some games, right? But I all of a sudden care a lot if I have a player from that team that I'm watching or following that contributes to my team points, which contributes to me winning money. So every game matters.
Got it. That makes sense because you have players on a whole bunch of different teams. Right.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So, how do you get started?
So, for instance, I have a fantasy league, surprise, surprise, where I have 12 people, 11, counting me, 12. And everybody pays me in the beginning of the season. I set up a league on either CBS, ESPN, NFL.com. Very easy to do. You set up a team league. You invite members, you get 12 people in a league, everybody names their team. I have a team called Curb Stomp. I've got two a time. You get to name everything, any team you want. And then that's your team. And then there's the 11 other teams. So then you're set for a 12-team league for the course of the year. And then you play against each other the entire season, kind of like the NFL season.
Got it. All
You
right.
still, no, you don't. You don't have it.
I get it, I think. So,
No, you don't. No, you
I
don't.
guess my question is like, there's a draft, right, where you pick those players. What is
Mhm.
that? How do you pick good players? How do you know?
So one of my leagues I've been doing for 21 years, we actually go to a bar and do it live. Most people do it on like the computer, and you can just pick, and there's a time limit. But so like they're all ranked. Even if you don't know anything about football, you can go on a website and say top quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes,
Got it. Okay, that makes sense.
it goes down the line. Same with running backs. And so your team has to have a quarterback, two running backs, three wide receivers, a tight end, a kicker, and a defense.
Okay.
That's your starting team, and that's based on who you have on your team. So, first pick of the draft is going to be, say, Christian McCaffrey, running back for the 49ers. He's universally known as the best fantasy football player. And so, one picks him, second one goes, third one goes, all the way down to 12, and then it comes back up. So, the 12th player the 12th team picks again. So
Got
it
it.
goes 1 through 12 and then 12. So basically the 12 team gets the 12th pick and the 13th pick. And then it goes back up. So the first pick that took Christian McCaffrey doesn't pick again until 23 picks later.
Got it.
So there's a strategy to try to fill your team with the right amount of players. You have to start running back, so you can't wait. You have to start receivers, so you kind of have to do the balance of we're trying to fill out your team, basically.
Got it. Perfect. And running backs are like the best, and then what? Wide receivers because they're point scorers, or
Yeah, it's hard. No, it changes. Right now, it's receivers. They catch a lot of passes, and they throw the ball a lot in the NFL. So receivers are getting more. In fact, I don't know if you probably don't know this, but running backs are like really pissed off right now because believe this or not, they are up more less. They make less money on average than kickers right now. Running backs.
sounds like you send your kid to school to be a kicker. But
I
they,
mean,
take the
yeah,
least
think about it.
team, play the least, and make good money.
Think about it. Running backs are they take a pounding and they're like less paid than a kicker. I guess they recycle them pretty quick. You're pretty old as a running back at 29.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Good. That makes me feel better about myself.
that's what we're here for.
All right. So during the course of the season, am I stuck with the people I originally picked, or can I change that?
Yeah, I mean, you can drop everybody you want. Each week, once the games are over on Monday night, Tuesday, the website will update everything, and then there's something called a what do you call it? Free agent. Basically, you can pick up players. So the the first player that gets usually it's it depends how it works, but somebody gets the first pick, or you can bid for a player. So if you see a player that's not on anybody's team, that all of a sudden this rookie that just looks great, and you're like, ooh, I want him. You got to bid for him, and you got to outbid everybody else to get him on your team. So if you really need a running back, and there's a running back sitting on the waiver wire, it's called. It's the waiver wire is people that are just there to pick up, bid for. And so if you see one you like and you really want them, you better bid a lot. If you don't, if you think you might want them, you bid a little. So it's a game all year long of trying to add to your team, drop a player who's injured, and things like that, and always just trying to find that diamond in the rough for cheap.
All right. So here's the question. Thank you. Here's the question for posers everywhere, because this sounds like a lot of work. What is the best way for someone who knows nothing about it to be reasonably good
Yeah,
with the least amount of effort?
that's a great question, and it's actually fairly easy as time goes on. I'm old enough to remember doing my fantasy football with the Sunday or the Monday morning paper and like circling. I mean, it was crazy. Now you just go on your website and it'll tell you. You'll put your team up there, and you'll show all the players that are available. Here's who you should pick, especially with the draft too. There's something called a cheat sheet, the top players at each position. So you literally could do a draft by taking CBSSports.com and following that and saying, all right, that all these quarterbacks are gone. The next best quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. Okay, take Aaron Rodgers. So you can do it with the computer very easily. In fact, the computer knows more about sports than most people playing. So you might as well just follow the computer's advice most of the time. I use a combination of websites and then my own knowledge. But yeah, it's pretty easy to do without knowing anything. Just go on a website.
That would be very important.
It
So as we
sucks to
begin
lose to
this,
people like that. I hate losing to people like that too. It's the world.
I am the proverbial monkey with a dart when it comes
Yeah.
to these types of things. I just throw stuff on the wall, see what sticks, that kind of thing. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know if I'm ready to play, but we'll see.
No, you're not.
Yeah, no, there's
No,
not going to be the
here,
skill for it, but
I want you to play in my league. I mean, it'd be great, like, hey, you guys playing cards? Yeah, you know how to play poker? No. Oh, sit down. We'll show
come on
you.
in, friend. Can I get you a drink?
So yeah, I think you should join my league, but I got one spot left. I really think it would be a good maybe we could follow your team and the
Yeah.
genesis of you learning how to play
So what's the deadline for this decision?
right now.
Oh. And so when does this all start, Brett? When does fantasy
First game,
football
so
draft night happen?
you can do the draft anytime as long as it's before the season. So you could like season starts next Thursday, so you could do it Wednesday night, Thursday morning if you wanted. It's just have your team set before the season starts. And then once the season starts, it's on and there's 16 games, 17 games, right? And so you just total up the points. The top teams make the playoffs. The top point earners win money. So there's different ways there's something called a commissioner of each league, and they sort of run the league and decide how the payouts and if there's any like funny stuff going on, like bad trades to from a shitty team that's not good is trying to help their buddy by giving him a good deal. We don't like that kind of behavior.
I
So
would need that
you
kind of
gotta have
behavior if
somebody.
I'm going to play, Brett. I would need that.
Yes, yeah, no, we could do some behind the scenes stuff for sure. But yeah, I could help you. It's not that hard. It really isn't. I mean, my dad's funny. He thinks I'm a loser for playing fantasy football. He calls it orgasmic football.
Did you tell him you're a YouTuber too?
No, I want him to talk to me.
Right. I understand. All right. Well, thank you for the update. Thank you for all the wisdom and information.
Yeah, I don't know.
I may jump
I
in.
think
We'll see how it goes. So, all right. So next week we're gonna preview the season.
yes. Yep. This was just a little fantasy introduction. So when you go to your office, you at least know what happens. A
Yeah.
bunch of losers get together and act like they know football better than everyone else, and a little bit of money is traded, and everybody has a great time.
Is there a lot of trash talking?
There used to be. I used to lose friendships over this shit, but now I'm 54 and my testosterone's way down, so I really don't care anymore about anything, really.
That would be the part I think I would be okay at. And the
What,
problem is
not
I won't
caring?
be good enough to do well. But yeah, I think I
What,
can trash talk.
your low T is probably pretty significant as
Yeah,
well. Yeah,
it's a
maybe
small T.
I did name a fantasy team one year low T.
Very good. All right. Well, thank you again very much. And thank you to all the posers who are watching this. And we'll see you next week to set up the 2023-2024 NFL football season. Thank
Yes,
you.
we're back, baby.
We're back.